This video will be a wrap-up of what we did this morning in our class. We're using the chair again because this way you can't injure your knees if you do something wrong, and it seems easier to feel what the mechanics are. So we're going to talk about left and right turns where the trunk has to turn against the legs, and you don't want the legs to rotate out this way like they would in ballet. So what we're trying to do then, I'll just put one foot on the floor and say we're doing a turn to the right, and we'll specifically take a look at a pivot, a natural pivot. It's easy to turn the whole leg out or turn the foot out instead of moving through the foot and rotating to the right with a foot rotation. So we get a position like this. Now often you will kick your partner, or you'll knee your partner, and the connection that we want in the thigh is gone. So what we want to do here in the chair is engage the inner thigh muscle. And we can do that more easily by putting a hand there and pressing against the hand. Now what I'm doing right now is just an isometric exercise, so there's no movement. Just trying to get the inner thigh muscle to connect. So I'm keeping the foot a relatively normal position now, unless somebody is pigeon-toed. Most of us have a slight turnout in the foot, so we'll just keep the foot in a normal position and make sure it's not in an extreme position like that. Then what we're going to do is rotate. If we sit on the edge, it'll be easier to feel, because we want the pelvis to rotate, the trunk to rotate, and not affect the leg in this case. Now there are exercises we do where we let the leg go, but that's for a whole different purpose. So I'm going to allow my hips to rotate into that crease where the thigh goes into the pelvis, and I'm maintaining the knee in the proper position. Now that doesn't take a tremendous amount of work on the inner thigh muscle, but it takes a little bit of control rather than letting it flop out. I'm also making sure now, if I take my weight through the foot, that I don't release the big toe, that I'm keeping the toes pressed on the floor. So if I was dancing a natural pivot or a spin turn as a gentleman, or even step one for the lady, I'm thinking specifically for the man. This morning we talked about the spin part. But whoever's coming forward on the pivoting action, we want to avoid that or this. So rotate your body, allow this leg to move inward. Keep this correct, then go ahead and do it wrong so you can see the difference. So now if we're turning to the left, maybe we're doing a throwaway oversway, maybe we're doing a reverse pivot or simply a reverse turn. But again, I'm going to engage the inner thigh muscle and press against the hand just to find it. Then put the foot down. Instead of letting this happen, when you rotate, turning to the left, allow this hip to come through and maintain the knee over the center of the foot, more towards the big toe. Then let it go wrong, or twist, and then do it correctly again. So now hopefully when we get up and try this, one of the things we'll find when we're going to dance this in a pivot where there has to be a rotation from the foot, or maybe we're going into the spin part of the spin turn, we need to take the weight through the foot and feel that the rotation comes from our intention to turn, foot pressure, and the use of the muscles around the hips. So we'll get the chair away here. So for instance, the first step of the ladies, pivoting action or spin turn, a lot of times the ladies will actually step over this way. So I want to find the inner thigh of my partner, and I'm going to rotate to the right, but I'm going to maintain this awareness of my partner's thigh. And I'm going to step forward, not into a twist. Now this would be the same thing for the man's second step there, the spin turn, where he actually does the spin, or any partner doing the pivoting action when they're going forward. So you want an inward feeling while you're turning to the right. So you're turning your torso against the thigh. The foot then is not rotated out here. So now if I'm dancing a pivoting action, I will feel my weight move through that foot. I have the intention to turn, but not this way. And then I'll move through the big toe and then I can dance my pivoting action. If we were turning in the opposite direction, so this could be the man's throwaway oversway, or it could be either of us dancing a double reverse spin, or simply a reverse turn of any kind. Same thing, you want to feel that you're not rotating here. Now, reverse turn, we have to be careful how much turn we do through the trunk as well, because of our partner's position. So we will think that we go forward even longer when we turn to the left. But just feel here, the hip dancing to the left without allowing the knee to rotate out with the foot to turn out. And then if I'm dancing, let's say I'm dancing the man's part of the reverse turn, as I move through, the foot swivel will happen. It will not happen going into a left turn this way. We talked today also about the forward swing on some of these turns, but I think that's for another video. So today we just want to be aware that you don't turn your leg out to turn to the right or turn to the left, or allow your knee to continue outside of the foot. This is where we can injure the knees. So we do need to be aware of hugging the leg there and keeping the inside muscles strong. This is also very helpful to think about in Viennese waltz, where we're constantly seeing our students taking their right leg into a turnout position here, and then the weight is going that way. The weight cannot go through the foot. So I'm turning right, thinking that I'm dancing to the inside of the room as far as my right leg. So those are just a few applications. You can see this everywhere. I think once you start to feel the control there, you'll be able to apply this to a lot of different patterns.